You can see, man, I smoke these. First try, no warm up.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Yo, what's up? It's AmirSaysNothing, Big Bad Bright Side, and I really be in the studio in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, I can't talk right now. I'm in the studio.
All right, Amir. It's been about a week since the last time I saw you.
Yes, sir.
Then you was here pretty much every day for a little while too.
Yeah, we work, we relax, rest a little bit, get back to work.
I got to work on the resting part.
Yeah.
That's the one part I'm not that good at. But
it's important.
Yeah, happy to see you, man.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the basics. Where are you from?
From New York City originally. I live in Los Angeles now. I've been here for like 15 years. It's been a while. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's big East Coast, West Coast. We're all out here. You know what I mean? Got the whole map together.
For sure. Okay, so from the East Coast, now living on the West Coast. Have you lived anywhere else?
Yeah, well, I mean, mainly just the coast. But
gotcha.
I was born in New York and lived there, grew up there, lived in Boston, Jersey, all the way down to North Carolina before I moved here. My parents are split, so, back and forth a lot.
Bouncing around.
You know what I mean?
Quite a few people have that story, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
So
2 houses, baby.
So in some way there is something to that, like getting to travel, see different places, meet new people. Like you do learn some good skills.
Yeah.
And you are a great conversationalist, so
We try our best.
Yeah. So how long have you been making music?
I have been making music since my first project came out, Medium Rare, in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So 9 years? Yeah.
Now, so was that 9 years officially? Did you write or anything before that? Or was it just like 9 years ago you picked up a pen and just kind of ran with it since? Yeah,
I started off like freestyling and shit like that. So I used to just be like in the car with my homies and like cypher baby. You know what I mean? Just jumping in, like when we would go to parties, like jump in and rap with dudes. And that started like when I was 16. But yeah, as far as like recording music went, like I had always like tried, like I'd be like, oh, someone would hear me rap. They'd be like, yo, come like make some music. And I would like give it a shot. And I would kind of like, it's like your first couple times in the studio, you're not used to hearing your voice. You're not used to like translating what's in here to there to like the mic, you know what I mean? So I think I would just get kind of like in my head self-conscious about it for the first couple times. And then I finally was like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to record some shit, put it out and like let the people decide from there and like stop, overthinking it basically.
Okay.
And that was 2015.
2015.
14 to 15.
How old were you at the time?
Like 24, something like that.
Got you. Okay.
I know. Yeah, something like that.
Got you. Okay. And so, like, what era was that? What is it like that? What specifically made you want to get into music? Who were you listening to at the time?
Well, you know what? I was listening to, at that time, it was like, it's definitely SoundCloud era, but it was like in the midst of it kind of thing. Because I remember, like, I was listening to, like, didn't come out at that time, but I was listening to a lot of like pro era, like Joey Badass and stuff like that.
Chance a couple years after.
Acid Rap.
Acid, I rinsed that album.
Feel me? Action Bronson's like first couple tapes were really like, I was really into like, that side of everything. But just like new cats dropping mixtapes with like crazy samples and just all these rappers were just kind of coming out of nowhere.
That was the Dat Piff era.
Yeah, and like I said, like early SoundCloud. So that's the era I, decided to make some stuff and put it out because my first stuff came out on SoundCloud too.
Got you. Okay, so you caught the beginning of that SoundCloud era.
Yeah, like I remember when I put my music on, like I did my shit through TuneCore, and I remember at the time, like, people that I knew were like, whoa, you're on fucking Apple Music and Spotify? Because it wasn't common at that time. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of that era where people still weren't even on streaming platforms yet. You know what I mean?
For sure.
As far as like independent artists or whatever. So, yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when was the first time you actually got in the studio? Like, what was your first studio experience? And if you have different types of studios, like whether it was like a home studio versus like a big studio, like where did it start, and like where did each of those start for you?
Well, like I've always been around like music by proxy a little bit, you know, like, but the first, like my dad had a radio show in New York, WBLS. It was on Sunday nights, and I used to go with him, you know, single dad shit, bringing you to work. And while he used to be like in there recording, we'd be like watching like Cartoon Network or some shit in the break room. And then I would just kind of like walk around this like office building late at night. No one's there, just checking out like little studio spaces and shit. And I remember like, you know, I'd look in on the rooms with like the glass and like the mics on the table and shit like that. So that's probably the first like studio I've been to. And then after that, music studios were like friends' home studios, things like that. Like, you know, just like everybody else's like early start to making music. And then from there, like, you know, occasionally like my friends would like be working on something in a big studio, and I'd like get to come by and be like, damn, like, this is fire. You know what I mean? And like, even up until this was like before we were working on my stuff in there, you know, I would just like come in there to like check out what my friends were doing. So yeah, that's probably all around that time, 15, 16, you know what I mean?
Got you. Okay. Yeah, got it started early. That's what's up.
Yeah, you know, I've definitely been blessed to like be around, and you know what I mean? I always feel like I'm like the guy that like as I make my own individual rise, I'm definitely the guy that's gonna be remembered as the guy who was in a lot of rooms and like maybe was just like kicking it or chilling with somebody else, you know what I mean? And then because it's already happened a bunch of times, but that's always how my shit kind of goes. You know?
For sure.
It's like I'm like with my homie or something while he's working on something and she's working on something, and then, you know, later on I'm in there doing my own thing. So
for sure, being around, there's a benefit to being around.
Yeah, you definitely gotta, it helps to just, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people need it to like be about them. And I think that you miss all the opportunities just like being that way. You know what I mean? You gotta just be like, if somebody's telling you pull up, like pull up, see what's going on.
Some of the best lessons are learned when it's not you learning them, you know?
Absolutely.
You get to watch and see what other people are doing and what they're doing right or wrong, you know?
100%.
All right. So that was the first experience. Now, do you have what is your worst studio experience that you've ever had?
I gotta throw somebody under the bus now.
I mean, hey, we're not afraid of name dropping, but you don't have to, you know, for legal purposes, no defamation cases.
Usually for me, like my sessions are pretty who's supposed to be there for the most part. Like for all these years, like I've never really been one to like have too many extra people around. And if they are, they're all like working and being creative, or they're like close family and friends and shit like that. So it's like, you know, people come with like ready to add to the vibe. But I would say like as far as like worst studio sessions go, it's just like any session that like this one time I was recording something, but I was like writing, and I went in this other room to write, and then like a bunch of homies came through that weren't my homies at the time. I know all these guys now, but I remember I was done writing and I came back like ready to like drop my shit, you know? Mm-hmm. And they had like started another beat or whatever. And I was like, yo, I'm like ready to get in, you know what I mean? And like, homie was like, oh man, we started like working on this thing. And I was just kind of like, man, you know, like I like focus and shit. I don't like distraction. And if you're going to come to a studio session of any kind, you have to also, that goes for me, it goes for everybody. It's like, I'm not here to distract from like what's already going on in this room. You know what I mean? Like if there is a moment in which we like do something else, then cool. You know what I mean? Or I can get in on something, cool. You know what I mean? But like, I'm there to, this is your work, period. It's sacred to me. You know what I mean? So for the most part, I think I don't have too many bad sessions because it's sacred. You know what I mean? And we don't really get too mixed up with like having, you know what I mean? Like other type of shit. But there was also this one time that I went to a session and like I was like kicking it with my cousin. And this dude was like rapping and shit. Or he was like, yo, like, okay, all y'all, like, I was just there to hang with my cousin. I actually was not there to be a part of their session. And homie was like, yeah, man, like, you know, all y'all can write. And like, whoever has the best verse, like, is going to get on the song. And I was like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I was like, I am not writing nothing for this. You know what I mean? But like, that's probably like.
Was the beat at least good?
That was cool, but like, that's just not. Do I look like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be on some like, oh, we're in the writer's room. Like, you're not.
Everybody prove yourselves.
Yeah, like, no disrespect to anybody, but it's like, if you're in that type of situation, as an artist or a writer, you know, like, what you're doing, you're down for that. You know what I mean? You can't. I would never invite like 10 rappers to the studio and be like, yo, man,
the hottest verse.
Best verse is gonna write for me or to get on this song. It's like a weird way to do it, but yeah, whatever. There's a little bit.
No, to each their own. But I think that first story, there's a lot to learn from that. Not taking over the session, like you're there as a guest. You know.
Yes.
You don't go into somebody's house and start eating their food. So if it's their session, you know, you're there to contribute to the vibe.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people they go to studio sessions or they want to get in studio sessions thinking like, oh, they're bringing me in because I'm the hottest artist alive, and it's going to be like I'm gonna have time to record my stuff, and it's like no, you're a guest. Yeah. Just come kick it. Like people underestimate where you can get just by knowing how to kick it.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're, you know, great artists, great swordsmen, you know, it's like, you gotta like know how to like watch other people. Like you said, like, it's not always about you, you know what I mean? And you can pick up a lot of jewels and gems and inspiration. And even just like watching how someone else like does their thing by just like, knowing how to, you know what I mean, sit in the dugout for a night. You know what I mean? And just understand like your time to be on the field can come when it's your time to be on the field. But if you don't, you know what I mean? Like, then you're just going to always be, yeah. You know what I mean?
One, you can learn from some mistakes without having to make them by just watching. But,
100%.
You know, some people are hard-headed and they're going to learn how they learn.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So do you have a favorite studio?
Ooh, studio.
Like where if you got to record the hottest verse you've ever recorded right now, what studio are you going to?
Man, I mean, I haven't necessarily, I'm a big like Rick Rubin. I read a lot of Rick Rubin and shit. So, or I listen to like interviews and things like that. So obviously like going to Shangri-La is probably like my bucket list. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I just want to go and like check that shit out and be able to like, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
You know, because it's like, I've been
shout out to OG Rick.
Yo, come on, Rick Rubin with the wisdom every day, you know, but
the reducer, as he calls himself.
Yeah, exactly. But like for the most part, you know, I've been to like Paramount, I've been to like, you know what I mean, Record One, like, and all these other spots that are like super dope, you know what I mean? But I think that like, that place is just like different. It's like, you know what I mean?
And have you been there?
No, I haven't been.
What's your favorite place that you've been? Like
that I've been?
Yeah.
Ooh, just for like I mean, Paramount's super cool because it's like Michael Jackson type shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you're in like that room in like a cave and it's like a big open like sound. Or you feel like a symphony could be recorded in that spot. You know what I mean? Or like Warner Brothers type studios.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Record One fam. Those homies, those are some of the homies. And like that, I remember like going there. My friend Lolo was engineer over there and we worked on like mixes and shit. And like, that was like, you know, bucket list type shit.
That's
without
sick.
You really knowing, because you learn as you go too. You know what I mean? I didn't always like know everyone's studios. You know what I mean? But you learn as you're going, and you get to check them out. So yeah,
that's what's up. Okay, so then, do you have or maybe a couple life-changing moments in the studio that you would like to share? Like anything that you went in there and something dope happened, something crazy happened that just kind of like maybe it shifted your mentality on the music making process, yourself, the business, anything.
I mean, you know what's funny is like the big things aren't even always like the ones that do it. You know, it's like me and my boy Matt record at his spot, Matt Maddox, And it's really like, or like when I was at my man Jamal's house when we first started, like, you know, it's like the stuff that you do where you really are like in your comfortable space, creating your own stuff. That could be, you know, in the room in the apartment, or it could be like later in the spot that, you know, is established now. You know what I mean? But it's like, because you're able to be like you're, you know, expressing yourself and creating for yourself and trying out new things and experimenting and things like that. It's like the result is so much like super appreciated, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or like, but then there's also like two of my joints on my last record were produced by Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park, and I did that over at his spot, and like, you know, that's just cool because of like the idea of like, man, how much like great shit have you like created in here, and I'm happy to like.
You're just happy to be creating.
Yeah, you're just happy to be like, damn, we're like creating for me in here. Like that's dope in itself. So it's kind of, you know, there's always something to be said about it all. You know what I mean? Like, because even when you're in those situations, you're like, man, I want to like show up and kill it. You know what I mean? Which does help you, I think, can help you like hit it. You know, like the stars align and everything's like hidden. But yeah, I think wherever you can kind of be free is like going to be the best spot. You know what I mean? Where you can experiment and learn and practice things and like try some new shit, you know, comfort.
Absolutely. Now, in those moments of experimenting, is there one moment that stands out to you that's like, maybe you tried something you weren't trying before, and the second you did it, you're like, oh, this is that shit.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, we've been working on my newest album, my up and coming joint right now. So there's been a lot of experimenting going on in there, but I would say, like on the last album, I have this song called R&R where I did like kind of like a choir situation, and I like laid down the bass vocal like singing situation, and then I had two of my friends sing on Zybel and AJ Claire. Shout out to them. So they sang on it, and we kind of just did this whole like thing, you know. My best attempt at like a real good choir, you know. And as far as that goes, I would say that's probably like, because you know, rapping and shit, like that's cool. I like when you're like trying shit like that, because it's something that you like, you're unsure if you're like capable of it, and then you know, just go for it, and then you're like, damn, like we really like hit the mark on this shit, and that's always appreciated, and it kind of pushes you into like you know, it pushes you further and further out to like try something else. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. You learn a lot about yourself through that experimentation and trying shit. 100%. And a lot of times it ends up being your favorite stuff.
100%.
All right. Do you have any specific goals that you would like to achieve within music? Do you want to go platinum? Do you just want to make good music? Do you want to open a studio? Like what?
Yeah. You know, I mean, I think that I've definitely always been like, yo, like, you know, I don't necessarily have like, I don't want like 8 Rolls Royces per se, you know what I mean? But like, I think as far as the craft goes, yeah, I want to like hit the marks and hit all the like platinum for sure, you know, diamond even, if we can go fucking diamond, why not? You know what I mean? It's like watching like cats like Killer Mike like get a Grammy, get 3 Grammys. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Killer Mike,
shout
man.
out to my guy,
putting in them years.
Let's go.
That boy deserved that.
You know what I'm saying? Like without a doubt. You know.
Shout out to Greasy Will too. I know he was engineered on that record as well.
Yeah, man. I was very happy to see that happen. You know what I mean? But like, so when I see that, especially like knowing Mike, it's like, damn, like that's really inspiring, and really like it makes you look at like, even getting Grammys is like not something that you have to be like some like compromising artist to do. You can be who you are and be in your vein and stay and like, what you're passionate about as far as like what you want to do or what you want to sound like. It's not like you got to be like, oh, you got to go do a Maroon 5 record. Shout out to Maroon 5 though. But you know what I'm saying? You know,
shout out to Maroon 5.
If you don't want to do Maroon 5 records, you don't have to necessarily like get the highest acknowledgement in the industry.
Absolutely.
You know
yeah, no, there's still a path there.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that it definitely like opened my mind to the idea of just like doing, you can get all those, you know what I mean? Collect as many achievements as you can. Why not?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, I would like to have 10 Rolls Royces one day. If you ever want to use one, you're more than welcome.
I would like to get, you know what I want to do? I want to get my people 10 Rolls Royces.
There you see, that's real boss talk.
That's the kind of guy.
Boss talk is not, oh, you know what? Okay, I'm going to correct my answer. I'm trying to get my people with 10 Rolls Royces.
That's right.
I want them to be able to get their people 10 Rolls Royces.
That's right. You know what I mean? To me, that's more than anything.
No, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's an amazing point.
Yeah.
All right. Any upcoming projects or music
you
want to talk about?
Is there?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, is there?
Are you working on some stuff?
We've been working very hard.
Who's we?
Me and Uub have an EP coming.
Shout out Boo backwards.
Out of this wonderful spot right here. Be on the lookout for that. I'm not going to give you any names just yet because, you know, we're going to roll this out. You know what I mean? Just hold tight. But that's what you get. So keep an eye out for it.
Y'all can take my word for it. It is fire. I've been listening.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just dope because like we met. Like the way that came together was like
so fluid.
Shit don't even happen like that a lot of times. You know what I mean? So it's just like, damn, we like met. Yo, Saturday, come to studio Monday, done on Friday. You know what I mean?
Type shit. Yeah, that's really how it went down. I remember I might have put a bass line on there, you know what I'm saying, somewhere.
I think so. Huh?
I think it's, you know, just somewhere just sprinkled it in, you know what I'm saying?
There's a little something on there, right?
But no, y'all always been in here working for sure. Any other music that you're considering?
Yeah, well, I got a full length album coming as well that I have been working on.
Fire.
So I haven't completely figured out how all of this is going to like come in order, but let's just say there's a lot coming. And then I got a single coming too.
For sure. Okay, rollouts on rollouts, huh?
You know what I mean? Bright side don't sleep, man.
Hey.
We're always working, you know? And it's been a good, like, we'll get into it more later, but I'm ready to just carpet bomb.
Okay, so he's ready to let y'all have it.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to all my people around me. Shout out to my man Matt. Shout out to Joel behind the cam. Shout out to Uub. Boo backwards, come on, you know what I'm saying? Hit them up, get some production, get you some beats, get in some sessions, whatever. If you want to sound like me, I'm giving you a key. You know what I mean? But yeah,
the poet didn't even know it.
Shout out to, you know, family, friends, everybody. I mean, shit, man, I could go down the list. I have so many thank yous that I could give people. But everybody knows who the main ones are. You know, shout out J James, shout out Dewey, shout out Killer Mike, shout out Slug, shout out Mike Shinoda, shout out my brother, my sisters, my brothers, all of them. You know, I don't know. Shout out to everybody, man.
Everybody gets a shout out. Man, it's Oprah with the shout out.
I could make the longest list of like thank yous because
we might have to do a thank you album where we just go down.
Yo, for real, like end credits for a movie. I'm just like, I got mad people that, you know, are in my corner, been in my corner, and, you know, not even just like music, but just like personal things that I really appreciate. So I just would like to shout them all out. But those are some of the names. We got more names, but you know who you are. Thank you. Love you. Bright side. Peep the rain. Yo, what's up? It's AmirSaysNothing. Big bright side, like I told you once and I tell you twice. Shout out to everybody who has, you know, helped make the world my world. I appreciate you. I love you. See you soon. We got big things dropping, coming. Why? Because I really be in the studio in real life. Peace out.